Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and it's time for a controversial view. Today we're going to be talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Now, originally this was supposed to be a positive spin because it seems like people hate this movie. I don't understand why. But we're going to talk about, quote unquote, the gayest movie ever made. Now, my history with this film, I rented this when it first came out because I was so excited to see it after watching the original Nightmare on Elm Street. And I love this film. This is the film that I watch the most because I just find it so entertaining. And there's also another reason. Mark Patton. Mark Patton was someone I could identify with when I was young. He was a final guy. And I know a lot of people said he was written as a gay man, but of course he had a girlfriend. But I didn't see that. And although throughout the years people have pointed out a lot of things about this film that are supposed to be gay, I still don't see it. I still feel like it's people trying to put labels on things that don't belong. Not only that, but I wasn't raised like that. I didn't see films like that. If you want to call this the gayest movie ever made, then that's your prerogative. But I remember a lot of things being in movies when I was younger. Let's take, for example, Police Academy. When they play the joke on the two cadets and send them to I think it was called the Blue Oyster Bar, I think. Does that make Police Academy the gayest movie ever? I don't think so. And I don't think it's looked at like that. So when I used to watch this film, like I said, I could identify with this film because Mark Patton, in my opinion, wasn't written like a gay man. And despite what everyone says, it's kind of weird because when you watch Never Sleep Again and you listen to the whole thing about part two, because I've done it several times. I even did this once before for Body Bags, where we talked about A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 and then the corresponding part for Never Sleep Again. So check that out if you want to. I'm going to be talking about a lot of the same things here. But you find out that a lot of these people are bickering. And, Mark Patton is resentful that he was written as a gay man, and I don't think he was. You can pick out anything from the film and put a label on it. And yes, there are things that relate to being gay. The coach, Snyder, and the gay bar, of course. And of course, when Freddy or Jesse kills him. Of course, you can relate that to being gay. But other than that, it seems like people reach and they want the whole thing to be labeled as the gayest movie ever made. And if that were the case, then that's fine. But I just don't see it. I still don't see it. And once again, I just didn't think like that when I was a kid. I remember talking to Joe about this and watching these videos with people talking about this film being the gayest film ever made. And I asked him, I was like, you know, when you watched Freddy's Revenge, did you get that sort of um, did you get that vibe out of the film? And he was like, no. Once again, I guess he wasn't raised to think like that either, or to see that in Hollywood, or to put a label on something like that. Mark Patton, as I said before, was a final guy, which was not common in horror movies. It's always the final girl. And being the final guy, to me, made it more scary because it was something that I could identify with, and something that would scare me. Freddy's always after the girls and this, that, and the other thing, even though he does kill guys in the series. But generally speaking, the ones that are tormented and that last until the end are the final girl. The final guy, I just didn't get it. And I still don't. Even as far as I was talking to Joe the other day, as we were watching this, somebody had made a comment about the game in his closet called Probe. So I looked it up, and it's actually a game. I think people reach, and I think people need to have that label on certain things, and I don't, I think it does the movie a disservice, because then I think people are afraid to talk about it, and people are afraid to give their own opinion on it, which is what I'm doing. People may have grown up thinking this was the gayest movie ever made, and how could you not see that? But I just didn't. I looked at it as a horror movie where there was a final guy. And that's that's it. I, I'll never understand the labels that people put on things. Like I said, I think it forces people to take a stand, whether they want to or not, of whether they like a film or they don't, based on the reputation that it has. Um, I'm not going to tell you where this would place in my Nightmare on Elm Street ranking, because that is coming up very soon. But I will tell you that it's very, very high. I find this movie incredibly entertaining. I always have. And like I said, I could always identify with it because it was something different. It was a final guy. I like that Freddy was kind of scary in this one. This was before he turned into what I feel is a joke. So I'm not sure what you guys feel about this one. This is a conversation. I mean, does it really need to be had? No. But I'm sure people will have their opinions anyway. So please try to keep them um, nice. And yeah, check out Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. If it's something that you don't normally watch, or if it's one that you skip in the series, it's a very entertaining movie. And I just think it's a lot of fun. And I think people who don't have any love for the film for certain reasons, I think they're really missing out. So, like I said, check it out or don't. Um, but don't forget to check out Joe's controversial view for A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. Remember, guys, physical media matters. And until next time.